Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Itawamba Community College. Registration for the spring semester at Wallet Hub's #1 community college in the state and 25th best in the country is open now through December the 18th, weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the Student Affairs offices on both the Fulton and Tupelo campuses. You can also register by visiting apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Ever since you got that license, you haven't stopped moving forward. Now that you're older and on the move, you need a safer place to keep your money. We get it. A student checking account frees you up with things like mobile check deposit to take care of that check from grandma without having to stop at a bank. Pay with your phone when you're out with friends. And stop worrying about ATM fees. We'll pay you back for those. Worry about your future, not your money. And know that we'll stick with you, wherever you go. Renaissance Bank, understanding you. Member FDIC.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of the ICC Hour being presented by the best bank in the South, Renaissance Bank. Visit renaissancebank.com for more information. Also, don't forget about renaissancernation.com. December the 10th. Man, it will be Christmas before you know it. I hope everyone's getting geared up for a great holiday season and a very, very happy new year coming up in 2020. I'm Adam Gore, the Sports Information Director and Director of Media Relations here at Itawamba Community College. Hey, we're going to jump right into the show. We're going to continue or pick back up our focus on the Belden Center. Today, we're going to talk with Amanda Dickinson and Lindsay Patterson about the adult education program here at ICC, and then we'll also continue to talk with Becky Kelly, who is the continuing education specialist over at the Belden Center. So you'll want to be sure and listen to those interviews as we go throughout here on the ICC Hour. Now, what we're going to do is, since we took a break from our Belden Center focus last week for our Giving Day, in which, by the way, thank you so much for everyone that took time out of your day to give to Itawamba Community College, we're going to glance back and look back at our interview with Barry Emerson over there from our first one. That was the last week of November, Thanksgiving week there. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving as well, by the way. But yeah, let's go back and look now at that interview, or listen to that interview now with Barry Emerson here on the ICC Hour, being presented by Renaissance Bank. And now we're talking with Barry Emerson. Barry, before we get into the conversation, real quick, introduce yourself to everybody and kind of tell them what you do here.
My name is Barry Emerson, and I am the Dean of Career and Technical Education here at Itawamba Community College.
All right, so we've got a lot of interesting things to talk about with you. You're an interesting guy.
Thank you.
Let's start with the apprenticeships and intern programs here. Just talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, we've actually been doing internships for several years. In fact, the 25 years I've been here, we've always tried to place students in industry and let them get that real world experience while they're going to school, so they get to earn a little while they're learning. Toyota really set the bar for us with their AMT program, their Advanced Manufacturing Technician program, and it's an innovative approach to internships. Toyota's one of their critical skills is industrial maintenance, and so if they can't hire industrial maintenance technicians, then they are basically going to not be able to produce the cars that they need to produce, and so they need those multi-skilled maintenance technicians to keep things running, to keep, when something goes down, it can't be down more than a few minutes or they're going to shut down production. So they implemented a program several years ago where they actually take applications and they interview and they select 12 a year that are going to start to work at Toyota, making $16.50 an hour. So we're talking about many times it's adults, but also many times, just as many times, it can be a high school graduate.
Right.
Graduates in May, and in August they start to work at Toyota, making $16.50 an hour. So It's a very attractive program to students and also parents. Mm-hmm. And then they come to school 2 days a week. They work 3 days a week. That really set the model for us. And Toyota's plan had always been for other companies to join that model and allow us basically to have every student in industrial maintenance have an internship. And other companies were hesitant to do that because they saw it as an expense. We're going to take entering freshmen that know nothing about industrial maintenance, and they're going to be a drain on us at least for a year. And even though we would bring Toyota to meetings and Toyota would explain that they put them to work the first semester building cars, so they learn the processes and they learn how things are supposed to work, and they get some production out of them until they do know enough that they can be put with a maintenance team. But companies really were very hesitant to do that, and we never could get any of that off the ground. So we actually were approached to begin with by Three Rivers Planning and Development from Pontotoc about internships and what would it take to get companies to have an AMT-like apprenticeship model. Basically, if we subsidize the salary, then we could get companies to do that. So that's what we did. We, through the Three Rivers help, through the help of the Community Development Foundation, we brought about 40 companies over to CDF and just asked the question, what's your most critical skill to hire? And of course, that differs based on the industry. And then we said, why wouldn't you take our students in an internship? And that terminology has changed to industry recognized apprenticeship model now, but they're the same thing. And then we are now subsidizing that through the help of Three Rivers using WIOA funds, $6 an hour, and then we get to set some guidelines then. And we talk to these industry personnel that they are now our partner in this student's educational experience. And so we know they sometimes don't bring with them those soft skills. They may not be at work on time every single day, and they're not in class on time every single day either. And we are working with them and trying to develop them so that they understand the importance of that.
Kind of give them a little bit of accountability.
Absolutely. And help develop that student as a worker, not expect that student to be that worker that and with those strict guidelines that industry has, about attendance and those things. We want them to adhere to those, but we also want let me back that up because that probably sounds bad to say our students aren't going to be there on time.
Well, no, it's a unfortunate, but sometimes true fact, and that's some things that unfortunately people coming up think that, oh, well, they know they have to be on time, but sometimes you just got to hammer that point home.
Yeah, and as this new generation, it seems to be even more of a problem.
Right.
So now, so I'll get back on track. So we emphasize to these employers that they are now our partner in the educational experience. And so, and with that, we want them to give us feedback, tell us where that student is lacking, where that student needs more development. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to work with that employer. And that subsidy really helps. If they pay at least $12 an hour, then we will subsidize it $6 an hour. And the average is around $14 to $15 an hour that these students are making. So this year, we're in our third year, and we were able this year to actually fill every spot. Three Rivers tells us how many positions they will fund at $6 an hour for 1,000 hours a year. And so we have funded every position. And so we're up to about 24 companies and about 70 students that we are working with.
That's pretty awesome. So, one, you go to class, you get training towards the job you're going into, and you get paid to do it at the same time. Exactly. So, it's one of those situations where if you're looking to go in this line of work, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
the one downside is we have more students than we have positions for them. And that will change too. There will be companies that will recognize what a huge benefit it is, and then they actually will take on additional interns knowing they're not going to get that subsidy. But it is such a huge benefit. Eventually, we hope the companies are going to recognize that they can't live without this. And a real, I guess, a testament to that in the beginning was that Toyota couldn't hire every one of their interns. They'd hire about 30% of them. And the other 70% that graduated, that had that 2-year internship, apprenticeship with Toyota, other companies just gobbled them up. They were a high commodity. They realized the value of that student above all others.
Right.
And that really placed somewhat of a disadvantage to those that didn't have an internship. So that pushed us to do it as well. But that also tells us that companies value that internship.
Well, if there's a company that may be watching or listening right now that would be interested in getting more information on that, how would they go about getting in contact with you?
Well, my information is on the website
Right.
at iccms.edu, or you could just call the general number and ask for me, and they'll connect you. And or if you know anyone else at the college, just call anybody that you know, and just ask them about it. Get them to put you in touch with me.
And we do appreciate Barry and everyone else that you're going to hear over for the next 2 or 3 weeks from the Belden Center for taking time out of there today to talk to us here. Now, if you would like to go back and listen to that full interview with Barry Emerson, you can do so by searching Itawamba Community College, the ICC Hour on Facebook, or you can go there as well, see his interview as a standalone interview to highlight the Belden Center there as well, or go to the archives, the on-demand section of letsgoicctv.com. When we come back, we'll talk with Amanda Dickinson and Lindsay Patterson about the adult education program on the Belden Center as we continue the ICC Hour here on Super Talk Mississippi 101.9 FM.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
You live life on your own terms. You won't be told what you can't do, and we're here to back you. From the boardroom to the big stage, Renaissance Bank supports women striving for success. Because greatness isn't held to anyone's expectations, except yours. So if anyone says you can't, prove them wrong. Rise with Renaissance, supporting women and the communities they influence every day.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Itawamba Community College. Registration for the spring semester at Wallet Hub's #1 community college in the state and 25th best in the country is open now through December the 18th, weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the Student Affairs offices on both the Fulton and Tupelo campuses. You can also register by visiting apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
And now we're joined by Amanda Dickinson and Lindsay Patterson here on the Belden Center. We're all day on the Belden Center. We're going to focus on some things here. And Amanda, Lindsay, give you a chance to introduce yourselves to the audience and kind of tell us a bit more about adult education.
I'm Amanda Dickinson. I'm an instructor here in adult ed. Been here about 5 years. We are responsible primarily for the high school equivalency diplomas, but we also have other things that we do in our classrooms as well, like Smart Start and Work Keys assessment, and even some other additional testing. And I think Lindsay's going to talk a little bit more about that.
Lindsay Patterson, adult basic ed instructor here at Belden, among many other things. We kind of wear a bunch of different hats here. But this is my second year here, and just been here since August at Belden full time. Was at Amory.
Right.
Been fortunate to work at a few different locations and kind of get my foot in the door here at Belden.
All right, so let's talk about adult education. When people hear that, they may not think, they may think older people, but not necessarily. So tell us about that adult education. What age y'all usually kind of reach out to and maybe see a lot more of in your classes?
We'll take 16 and up. Now, 16 and 17-year-old is required to sign a form that comes from the state, as well as have a withdrawal form. So the term adult education is kind of misleading because most think, oh, I'm just going to be in the classroom with older individuals. You're more adult learners, but that's not always the case. We're anywhere from 16 to about 65 years old.
Oh, wow. So it varies, a large group there. And this is really something that a lot of people may not look into, but a lot of opportunities there as well. So let's just talk about the class hours and locations. So kind of gives an idea of what maybe somebody's thinking about, maybe looking to get back into school. in this realm. So what would be some of the class hours and locations they could expect to attend?
Okay, well, first of all, we have classes in all 5 of our 5 county districts. So we have a class in Houston, we have one in Amory, as he mentioned. Of course, we have the Belden Center. We also have an additional class at the Family Resource Center in Tupelo. That's one of our partners. And then we have several part-time people that help as well in some other locations there, like maybe Houston night, Amory night, that kind of thing. We are here at Belden from 8 to 4:30 every day. We also offer night class here on Monday and Tuesday night. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, there's someone here between 8 in the morning and 8 at night. And we have a whole host of other night classes around, and you can find all of those class listings on the website under Adult Education.
Of course, that website, iccms.edu. All right, so what you're saying is they don't have to come to Belden to sign up for these? Is that correct?
That's right. It's just we try to send them to whichever class they live closest to.
Okay.
So that makes it easier for them.
Awesome. All right, so we kind of talked about the age group. Is there any other things that you have to be eligible for these classes?
At some point, you'll need a state-issued ID. You can't bring one in from Costume World. We've had that before. But it has to be a state-issued ID, and just a 16, 17-year-old with that withdrawal form and the sheet signed from an adult. Other than that, you're ready to roll.
Well, the really cool thing about this is it's 100% free. So if you are looking to get back in or maybe even change careers or maybe even enhance an opportunity in your life, free is pretty legit. So just sort of talk about that and why is it important to offer that?
There's, people say that things in life aren't free. Well, we are 100% free. We try to make it as painless as possible. It's kind of an intimidating thing for an adult learner to step back in a classroom. We hear stories from all walks of life. Whether they had an unfortunate event happen when they were in K-12 or a tragedy or something like that. The major step they do, the most difficult thing they'll do is step back in the classroom. So we try to make it painless, not only as in getting them scheduled, getting them prepared for the test, but also financially pay them for their test. And we will pay for the first test. The only thing they will be responsible for would be a retake.
Okay.
And that fee's substantially less than what a first time.
All right, and on my list I also see there's something called a $100 incentive check. So that's piqued my interest. What's that all about?
Well, whenever they complete their high school equivalency, we have 2 different tests we use. Of course, GED, which everyone's familiar with, but there's also another one called HiSET that's put out by Educational Testing Service. When they complete either of those tests and get their high school equivalency diploma, then we do issue them a $100 completion bonus check.
Okay, so free, and you get paid to do this. So the question is, other than maybe just having those hesitations, why wouldn't you?
Why aren't you doing
Yeah.
it? That's exactly right.
All right, so there's going to be a lot of words here that I'm going to throw out that I don't know a lot about. Of course, I am the Sports Information Director, Director of Media Relations, but the HSE, Work Keys, and Smart Start. Kind of explain that to people and explain it to them as if you're explaining it to me who has no clue what you're talking about. So,
Okay. As Amanda said, there's 2 different tests that we offer. And in our world, we call them high school equivalencies. That's where the HSE comes from. Now, everybody has always said for years, I'm going to drop out and I'm going to get my GED. I'm going to get my GED. And you can do that.
Right.
So when people come in and we mention this test called HiSET, that's something they're unfamiliar with.
Right.
And they say, well, no, I just want my GED. Well, it's a high school equivalency.
Okay.
It's just made by 2 different publishers. So we also have a program called Smart Start. And Smart Start is you go through the interview process with these people. You talk about on-the-job skills such as teamwork, those soft skills. You'll develop a resume, and you just talk about different types of insurance. There's a bunch that's covered. A lot of times it's things we take for granted that people should know how to dress for an interview, and there's some people that don't know.
actually, that's a good point you bring up. I'm sorry to interrupt you on that because I talked to some kids today and they're like, well, Mr. Gore, I don't know what I need to do to go into an interview.
Right.
So that's something to me that is very important that a lot of people really need to take advantage of, because that could be a difference in getting a job, is knowing how to present yourself versus that. And, it's just unfortunately things that we take, as you said, take for granted that
Right.
we think everybody already knows.
Yeah.
And here at the Belden Center, because we are so heavily involved with workforce and workforce training. That's actually one of the reasons why we implemented the Smart Start program across the state. All the adult education programs are doing it. And it's because industry, that's one of the number one complaints they had. Employees don't know how to work. They don't know how to work in teams. They don't know they've got to be at work on time. Just those kind of things that we take for granted. And so we implement them into our adult ed classes so that they're getting kind of the whole package deal.
That's awesome. And then the work keys, have we talked about that yet?
The work keys is a 3-part test that a lot of your big name employers around here require. For example, Toyota, Mueller, there's Westlake in Aberdeen, Tronox in Hamilton. They require you to take the work keys. And the work keys is a work-based test. It's 3 parts. It's applied math, which is your basic on-the-job math, workplace documents, which will be reading memos, instructions, things of that. So it's reading comprehension. And then graphic literacy, which consists of charts, graphs, and blueprints and things of that nature. So you'll take all 3 parts, and your score is based off of the lowest test. And the score ranks from bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. So if you have 2 platinums and a bronze, you got a bronze. And you can always go back and retake that part. Now we will train for that and try to prep individuals for that to hopefully advance their employment or gain employment.
So the way it sounds like to me is you guys are building these people up for success. And that's very important because they may not have that background. They may not have that at home or may have not had it before. So this is a very valuable program to help people get that confidence, find their feet, and be able to go forward and change their life if they can, per se. So just talk about that feeling. I know this is not on the sheet, so I'm going to throw you a little curveball here. But just talk about the feeling knowing that you guys are part of that stepping stone for a lot of people that come through here.
Well, I think Lindsay and I both have a K-12 background, which of course is rewarding in its own right. But both of us have transitioned here where you see where it really is life-changing. Maybe when you're in K-12 and you maybe don't see the fruits of your labor till later on. Here, it's almost instantly with some people. We also have a graduation ceremony here every year so that our GED or HiSET completers can actually have that experience of bringing their family in, having the pictures, going through the ceremony, cap and gown, the whole deal. And that means so much to some people who never got that opportunity for whatever reason. And so that's just another thing that we try to do, and it just absolutely changes lives.
Lindsay?
Well, I'll piggyback on what she said about the graduation ceremony. You know, these students, we try to make it as traditional as possible. They get a cap and gown, they walk across the stage, they'll shake Dr. Allen's hand, and he'll hand them a diploma with Etowah Community College on it. So it's extremely rewarding, and we step back at the end of that night and kind of can take a sigh of relief for how hard we've worked throughout the year. And then it just starts over the very next day for us. But for those individuals, they've just made a huge step in their life, whether they're going on to ICC or, you know, maybe they've got a job and they were able to come that night and just kind of show everybody what they've accomplished. And, you know, some of these people, their children are getting to see them walk.
Right.
And it's extremely rewarding for them to see, you know, their children to see their mom or their dad walk across that stage and get a high school diploma when they've been trying to make a living for them without that educational background.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so we already talked about the 100% free, the $100 incentive check as well. A lot of people may be worried, well, I can't get there, travel being an issue as well. Well, guess what? That's covered too. You got gas card assistance, transit vouchers. So again, if you're thinking about this, there are ways that are making this possible. So you kind of just talk about the travel issue and the gas card and the transit vouchers.
So the gas cards, we do offer gas cards. There's stipulations about as far as attendance, but yes, sir, we'll give out $20 gas cards at the end of the week. We also have that transit. We're fortunate here in Tupelo to have the Tupelo transit, and we have a few students that ride that. So we have the vouchers that they will pick up daily and give to the driver. So there's really no excuse why nobody should be showing up.
Yeah. And then also, you got everything covered, so why not cover lunch as well? Lunch available on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Right. We have another thing that we have here is the food service pathway, which is actually located just across the hall from our classroom. And so 3 days a week, the classes will prepare meals for our students, and we are able to cover the lunch fee for them. So yes, they are provided meals 3 days a week.
And I'll say this, I've had it before, the times I've been on Belden, it's
Oh,
outstanding.
yes,
So
top notch.
well, we're talking with Amanda Dickinson and Lindsay Patterson about adult education here at ICC, and man, so much great information, and I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to talk to us. So now it's my turn to throw you another curveball. So I know we've got our list of questions and things we want to talk about today, but let's talk about ICC as a whole. What is ICC? Whenever I ask what is ICC or the ICC family, what does ICC mean to you?
Well, that you summed it up right there with family. I know, just for me, it's just having those connections with everybody in all the different areas of the college, because we all do different things, but somehow we always find a way to try to help each other out and help the students out. And it's primarily, it comes back to the students. It's all about them. Out here, we're actually lucky to have a transition specialist as well, who once they finish with us in adult ed, they're not finished, because most of the time they either want to go to college or they want to pursue some sort of job, and we help those with that as well. We have lots of pathways out here at Belden, as well as other campuses if they want to go the academic route, and so we also transition them out of our classes and continue on so that their future can be set for whatever it is they want to do.
You hit the nail on the head with as far as ICC. It's a family. That's what we are here. If I don't know an answer, or if I need some help with somebody, somebody right next door can provide the services that this student needs. It's extremely rewarding to see these individuals that step in. They come to us when they're at a dark place. Either they need this for a job. It's imperative for them to get it right now, or their boss told them they've got to get it or they're done. So you'll see people bending over backwards to help these individuals any way they can.
Awesome. Well, let's give the information on how they can contact you guys if they're interested, or maybe where they need to come to get more information.
They can call 407-1517. That's our bookkeeper. She's usually the main line and then she can direct them to what or give them the information they need, or even send them to us if they want to talk to us. Also, like I mentioned, you can go to the ICC website under Workforce and Adult Education. It's got a list of the class times and locations and any other information they might need.
All right. Anything you guys want to add before we kind of wrap things up?
No, sir.
So you might be ready to get out in front of the cameras right now. Well, Amanda, Lindsay, thank you, for your time, but thank you for everything you do. I know a lot of times in the education world, a lot of people don't take time to say thank you, but you guys are doing a good job, and you guys are making a difference in a lot of people's lives, so we greatly appreciate that. So, continue doing great things.
Thank you, sir.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Itawamba Community College. Registration for the spring semester at Wallet Hub's #1 community college in the state and 25th best in the country is open now through December the 18th, weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the Student Affairs offices on both the Fulton and Tupelo campuses. You can also register by visiting apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Zelle is the new way to move money, and it's already included inside your Renaissance Bank mobile app. No additional downloads, no additional signups. Whether you're paying a friend back for pizza or chipping in for gas, Zelle lets you send money quickly to almost anyone in your contacts. Here's how it works. Open the Renaissance app, log in, and tap the blue button with the white plus sign on it and select Zelle. Choose Send, Request, or Split. Pick who you want to exchange money with, either from your contacts or by entering a phone number or email. Choose the account you want to pay with and select an amount. Review and confirm. To stay organized, you can even include a short description of what each payment is for. That's it. Your money is on the move. Most payments take place in just minutes. No need to download another app. It all happens inside here. Balance the bill, split the check, and pay your way with Zelle. To learn more about Zelle, visit RenaissanceBank.com or download the Renaissance Bank mobile app to start using Zelle today. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC.
That's home. That's just like the Ravens. That's just like Pahokee, Florida. That's my second home. I got my degree from there, my first degree, college degree. It's part of my heart, it's part of my soul, it's part of my spirit. And, it's everything. Itawamba Community College, baby, it's everything. It shaped me up to being a great man because it was part of the journey of me becoming the young man I am today. And it's home, man. that's it. Like, I can go there and lay my head down without no problems. Ittle Woman Community College, the best start here.
And now we're going to talk with Miss Becky Kelly. Becky, introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do here at ICC.
My name is Becky Kelly. I am continuing education specialist here at Ittle Woman Community College. I've been here for a lot of years, and I have the best job in the world. I get the opportunity for people to come in and ask me for a career path, for some training, or a means of getting a better job, or a better position, or something like that. The primary things that I work with are like our medical programs. We have the nursing assistant, we have the phlebotomy program, we have the pharmacy tech program, I have the EMT basic program, and all of these are classes that are medical related that is not going to go away.
Right.
We're always going to need these medical positions and things like that. So, of course, the primary one that we push is, that is asked of me, is the nursing assistant and the phlebotomy programs. The nursing assistant, there are tons and tons of jobs that are out there.
Right.
So it's very easy once they complete the program to get a position. In fact, just yesterday I had 2 companies to contact me, and they're looking for employees. So what I normally do with that is I get the contact information of the company, then I send out an e-blast to the last 18 months of students.
Okay.
And tell them that there's an opportunity and let them go forward with it. Normally, they get really good results on it, whatever. I had a pharmacy to call me this week. They're desperately looking for 4 people. And so I did the same thing with them. And occasionally I'll have some companies to come in and visit with the students while they're in class, but normally it's just me sending out for it.
Okay.
But the nurse...
No, you're good. You're good. I thought that was interesting. The fact you talked about you stay in contact with people, 18 months removed from the program, that you
Yes,
send
sir.
out that e-blast.
Yes, sir.
So you're also helping them not only complete these classes or complete them, but also getting them employed as well. So that's a very important aspect to what you do, and also to the students here that go through these programs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, a lot of people jump around with the nursing assistant program. Unfortunately, the pay is quite low, and they do hop around, looking for better opportunities and things like that. And also, some of them, they get into the nursing assistant program and they realize, oh, I really like this.
Yeah.
So they come back for the LPN program or the ADN program, or...
It's a good jumper job.
That is correct, right. And one of the first questions I ask any of the students who come and ask about the nursing assistant is, when they're telling me that they want to do the nursing assistant program, is, do you want to take care of people? Because if you don't want to take care of people, you don't need to do nursing assistant, because you're the one that's taking care of them. The first step to getting into the nursing assistant, the phlebotomy, and the pharmacy tech programs is to take the work keys assessment. The work keys test them on some skills and stuff, a skill set, and many companies are beginning to require that of the students. Yes, it frightens a lot of students, and I tell them, don't worry about the work keys. If you don't score as well as you need, we have classes for free to help you get those scores up. So don't be afraid of that work keys. You're going to need to take the work keys at some point. We do the nursing assistant class quarterly. We start a class in January, start a class mid-March, a class in August, and a class in mid-October. Phlebotomy and pharmacy tech, we do those twice a year. We start those in January and in August. The primary reason being because there's not as many jobs for those as there are for nursing assistant, for the same reason I just told you a while ago about when they get nursing assistant, they realize. Now, I have a lot of people who do the nursing assistant, they come back and do the add-on credential of the phlebotomy. That makes them extra valuable at the nursing home or hospital where they're working and stuff. So the phlebotomy and the nursing assistant require a silver level on the work keys. The nursing assistant meets Mondays and Wednesdays, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., for 10 weeks. We will do a daytime class if I have enough people who ask for a daytime class, but we don't have very many daytime classes.
Gotcha.
Most of these are people that are already working at something and they want to come back and get another. I have a lot of teachers who take the nursing assistant class because once it gives them a job in the summer
Right.
when they're not teaching.
Okay.
You know, so we have, and also whenever they retire from that, then they've got another skill to go right on into. Same thing with phlebotomy. The phlebotomy class meets Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:30 to 8:30 for 8 weeks, and then it's followed with 5 weeks of full-day clinicals. And the clinicals are normally 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., almost always Monday through Friday. There's very few Saturdays that are involved because they work with a skeleton crew on Saturdays and they don't want to deal with a student.
Right.
That doesn't mean we don't have any, but there's very
Yeah.
few. And I always tell people, if you have a day job, don't quit that day job.
Right, right.
We work with you as best we can about your clinical hours, and as long as you can get them done within about 6 or 7 weeks, then we're okay for that.
And that's a very valuable thing to give people a peace of mind, knowing that, yeah, they might be looking into this, but I've got this, I've got that gets in the way, but you are flexible and you do work with them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's very important for them to know that, and very
That's
important for
correct.
us to do. So
That's exactly right, yes, sir. Because you don't ever want anybody to quit a job.
right.
Because it's a whole lot easier to find a job
Yes.
when you have a job.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so I always tell them, don't worry about the clinicals. We'll work with you as best we can.
That's awesome.
The pharmacy tech class meets 1 night per week for 16 weeks, and from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. There's a lot of information in that. We require a gold level on the pharmacy tech because there's a lot of math and a
Yes.
lot of memorization. There's a stack of cards that's about this thick of medical cards. You have to know everything about that medicine on that.
Yeah.
You have to know the color, you have to know the shape, you have to know the maker, you know the generic name, the reactions to it, how much to give, the benefits of it, the side effects and all that. And that's a lot to learn and to remember. So you need a good, plus there's a lot of math in that. You have to know the dosage per weight and all that kind of stuff and whatever.
And of course, you can find more information on these classes at iccms.edu as well.
Under workforce.
At the workforce, yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, and there's other things as well, so kind of
That's
just
correct.
touch on those.
Okay. We have the small engine repair, we have the welding and cutting class, and we have the residential wiring. Those are classes that are, they meet at night. The welding and the wiring meet Tuesday and Thursday nights from 6 to 9 for 5 weeks each. There's a total of 30 hours. In the welding and cutting class, you learn primarily and the residential wiring. You learn a lot of the stuff that you learn in the electrical program. It's just that it is more condensed. So what you would do is when you finish this class, you would do an entry-level position with a company, and then they continue to train you in whichever it is. Like you could be an electrician's assistant working with a licensed electrician, and he will continue to train you, and then after you get an adequate amount of training, then you can take your board and become certified for that.
Okay.
And the welding and cutting, the same thing. There's a lot of people who take the welding and cutting for that. And also we have a lot of farmers
Yeah.
and a lot of men who race cars and stuff like that. They take the welding and cutting because it helps them
Right.
out on keeping their things up. So,
Okay.
and we have women who do the welding and cutting as well as the wiring.
Yeah.
That we have a lot of women who are now single parents or single women, and so this is helpful for them because they can do things that they don't have to call somebody to come and do. Now, obviously, they couldn't wire a house
Yes, yeah.
or that kind of thing,
Yeah.
but I mean,
But it gives them the knowledge and the confidence to be able to do some of the things around the house.
they can
that-
hang
yeah.
a ceiling fan. They
Yeah.
can change out an electrical outlet. They don't like the color of that one anymore.
Yeah.
They can change out that electrical outlet. Basic little things like that, they can learn to do, and they don't have to call somebody in to do it.
All right.
The small engine is it's for small engines like motorcycles or lawnmowers or weed eaters and things like that. Meets 1 night a week for 16 weeks. It's a very, it starts out with about 6 weeks of classroom time, and then it moves into the actual hands-on. We have some motors that have been donated to us for the students to work with, and then after 2 or 3 weeks of that, well, then they start bringing in their own equipment and working on their own equipment. We have had some, in fact, I have a brother-in-law who took this class, and now he has a very profitable home business repairing motorcycles and lawnmowers, particularly lawnmowers and weed eaters.
And that's kind of what jumped in my head when I thought about this. You know, this would be, you know, if say you do have a full-time job, but maybe want a weekend job, making some money that way. That right there would be a great opportunity to come in and eventually, as you said, turn it into a profitable situation.
That is correct. We have had several ICC grounds people to take the small engine repair class too, which is helpful for them because they're always working on their lawnmowers and stuff like that, so it's good.
Awesome.
The EMT basic program is a precursor to the paramedic program, and it is 16 weeks long. It meets Tuesday nights and Thursday nights from 5:30 to 9:30, and it meets here at this campus. In fact, all these classes meet here at this campus. I failed to mention that a moment ago, sorry. To do the EMT, you have to be at least 18. You have to have at least a 16 on your ACT. You need your high school GED transcript on file here at the ICC Registrar's Office, and you pay your $689. The $689 includes the instruction, the books, the hepatitis series, the CPR instruction, the physical, your uniform, your drug screens, and a couple other things that I've gone out of my list on right there. But anyway, $689 covers a lot.
Yes.
It used to be a whole lot more expensive than that. And yes, you have to pay it out of pocket, but it's cheaper than whenever you used to get the money and all that stuff to do it with. When they finish with this, they will take their boards, and at that time they can stay with just being an EMT if they want to be, or they can go on and apply for the paramedic program. But you do have to do the EMTB before you can do the paramedic program.
Okay.
We schedule and train forklift training classes. I schedule those pretty much as needed.
Right.
When I get to 5 or 6 people who say that they want a class, then I get our trainers to give me a date, and I schedule a date for them. Those are held here also. There's a period of time that they are just lecture, then they are put on simulators, and then they're actually put on the forklift, and they go through all of that. It's usually about 4 or 5 hours long, $65 for the class.
Okay, so that's not a bad investment at all.
No, sir, it is not. And a lot of people who are working at, just regular places that might have a need for a forklift, then they will come in and they will take that class. And I schedule them as I need to.
Awesome.
The grant writing class is a class that I offer twice a year, the first Saturday in November and the first Saturday in April. It is... when you leave that day, it is a full day class, and when you leave that day, you can write a basic grant.
And this is something that is pretty interesting to think, because a lot of people hear grants. Well, how do I get a grant? Well, you've got to be able to write for them.
That's correct.
And so kind of just build on that a little bit more. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. We have a lady that, this one is a relatively new one. We had one that we'd had for years, and she has retired and moved on to something else. But yes, people are intimidated by grants, and you hear about the grants and whatever. But there is a structure that you have to go through, and if you don't follow that structure, it's going to be kicked out immediately. Right. So she teaches them how to structure it, how to ask for the proper, use the proper wording to ask for what you want, and gives you the sites for you to do the best search of where to get what you want. People with the schools have taken this class many times. Animal shelters, Main Street associations, things like that have taken these classes so that they can go back and help their community to get grants because they're always needing money for it, particularly the shelters and things like that. Yes, sir.
All right, and then to wrap things up, the Achievement Centers offers online learning choices. So
that is correct. We have a contract service that we have used for several years, and there are several online classes there. The primary people who use these classes with us are teachers, and they use them for CEUs. All the courses in the teaching and education section earn 2.4 CEUs. Most of them run about $80, some of them $90. They're very reasonable. They last 6 weeks. At the end of the 6 weeks, you get your certificate that has your 2.4 CEUs on it. And they never have to come to class. They do it at home in their, in their pajamas if they want to. They print their lessons off, do their reading and their pencil work at downtime, like child's ball practice, dance practice, whatever like that. And then they come back to the computer and do the computer work. They're very user-friendly, and teachers like them a lot.
And of course, you can visit ed2go. That's ed2go.com/ICC for more information. And again, you said that most classes price around $90, so
That's
again,
right.
able to do it at your convenience, on your time. So it's a very valuable thing for this opportunity.
That is correct, yes, sir.
All right, well, Ms. Becky, I appreciate what you do here for ICC and all the great information today. Remind everybody where they can go to find out more information.
Call me at 662-407-1500. My email address is rakely@iccms.ed as in David U.
Right.
And if I always return phone calls, I answer emails, and any way that I can help you, I'll be glad to.
All right, and one question I've asked everybody today, and I want to ask you this as well. What does ICC mean to you?
ICC is absolutely the best. I have the best job in the world, as I started out telling you. To me, it's so rewarding to have this person come in, and she's a displaced homemaker, or she's a confused teenager that's not real sure where she wants to go, or you have this man that is looking for something for better skills and stuff. And so I can try to lead them into something that might be better for them and whatever. I see people out all the time, and they'll be yelling, "Hey, Miss Becky, hey, Miss Becky," and I'm sitting there with the wheels turning, trying to remember where I saw them last, and whatever. But even still, I mean, after all these years, I still have people that come forward and they tell me how grateful they were. ICC has been a part of my life, almost all of my life. I started at ICC. I didn't finish at ICC because I moved away, and then I had the opportunity to come back. ICC family has stood behind me on many different situations that I have had, and I'm extremely grateful for that. But it's just, we're family.
Yes.
We've said several times about the ones of us that are here at ICC Belden. We may quarrel like brothers and sisters, but don't anybody else come after us.
Yes, most definitely.
And stuff. So, but it's family. It's the opportunity to help people and try to make them have a better life, try to help them get a better life, and just as they said before me, just that one or two persons that come back and say, "Hey, I remember you when you helped me with such and such." It's rewarding. Yes. It's very rewarding.
Well, Miss Becky, I appreciate your time today and appreciate you being such a valuable member of the ICC family and for all that you do.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Itawamba Community College. Registration for the spring semester at Wallet Hub's #1 community college in the state and 25th best in the country is open now through December the 18th, weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the Student Affairs offices on both the Fulton and Tupelo campuses. You can also register by visiting apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
At Renaissance Bank, we understand your company deserves individualized attention that will support your company's goals. Whether you're looking to finance or lease equipment, we offer flexible options to help you secure capital for your assets. Whether you're a transportation company looking to expand your fleet a telecommunications company upgrading your capabilities, or anything in between, we can help you. We offer finance agreements or capital leases, tax leases, and track leases, as well as tax-free financing for municipalities and 501c3s. We've been providing financial services to businesses like yours for over a century. So let us show you how Renaissance Bank's equipment financing and leasing can benefit your company. Renaissance Bank, understanding you. Member FDIC.
And that's going to do it for this week's edition of the ICC Hour, being presented by Renaissance Bank, the best bank in the South. Visit RenaissanceBank.com. Also, don't forget about RenaissanceNation.com. They got a lot of interesting programming there. You want to be sure and check it out. Also, they got those awesome SEC shorts that you can check out each week there as well. So we do want to say a special thank you to Amanda Dickinson and Lindsay Patterson of the Adult Education Program over on the Belden Center for taking time out of their day a few weeks ago to talk to us about the Adult Education Program. And also we want to say a special thank you to Miss Becky Kelly, who told us about the continuing education program there on the Belden Center as well. Listen, there are a lot of awesome things going on at the Belden Center. And you can visit iccms.edu to find out more about that, or you can go by and visit there as well. Don't forget, you still have time to sign up for the spring semester here at ICC. Visit apply.iccms.edu. Oh, and by the way, hey, our last basketball game of the 2019 season is coming up next week, Monday, December the 9th. We'll open up North Division play against Northwest. That'll be at 5:30 and 7:30. We'll also recognize the MACJC champion softball team during halftime of the men's game that night as well. If you can't make it to Fulton, you can listen to the game or watch the game on letsgoicctv.com, the red channel. Once again, that's letsgoicctv.com, the red channel. This is ICC Sports Information Director and Director of Media Relations, Adam Gore. I hope you guys have a great week. And as always, Roll Tribe.
You live life on your own terms. You won't be told what you can't do. And we're here to back you. From the boardroom to the big stage, Renaissance Bank supports women striving for success. Because greatness isn't held to anyone's expectations, except yours. So if anyone says you can't, prove them wrong. Rise with Renaissance, supporting women in the communities they influence every day.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Itawamba Community College. Registration for the spring semester at Wallet Hub's #1 community college in the state and 25th best in the country is open now through December the 18th, weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the Student Affairs offices on both the Fulton and Tupelo campuses. You can also register by visiting apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.